What's up, guys? So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is written and directed by James Gunn, and it stars Chris Pratt, it stars Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Rocket Raccoon, is played by Bradley Cooper. You got Vin Diesel as Baby Groot. You got Michael Rooker as Yondu, Karen Gillan as Nebula. We have Kurt Russell in this film as Ego. And a couple other people in it as well, but that's the main cast that we have, with a couple new characters sprinkled in there as well. If you guys are interested, I do have my review for the first Guardians of the Galaxy up on this channel. I posted that last week, so you can check that out if you want before watching this one. But if you just want to get straight into this, that's okay too. This is a non-spoiler review. I will be doing a spoiler review. I'll probably have that up on Sunday, probably, so you can check that out. Maybe Saturday, maybe tomorrow, something like that. Either Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you guys know on social media. But let's get started talking non-spoiler talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and what I thought about the movie leaving the theater. And if you guys did watch my review for the first Guardians of the Galaxy, you know that I absolutely love that film, and it's one of my favorite films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it's a fantastic superhero movie with a great story and you know, great characters. And it had just the right amount of everything, of the action, of the drama, of the comedy. Everything just kind of worked, and it had a fantastic flow to it. Now, going into this one, I didn't think to myself, I'm going to go in and hope it's as good or even better, you know, because it's like kind of setting yourself up for disappointment if you do that. I went in and I said, I hope this movie is good. And I left, and it's really good. It's a really good film. Is it as good as the first one? In my opinion, no, it's not. But I have read a lot of people that say that they think that this movie is better than the first one, and that's totally okay, and I respect your opinion. But for me personally, I don't think it was better than the first movie, and I'll explain to you why, without any spoilers, of course. And my first big reason why it's not as good as that film, because like I said before, the first one has a nice flow to it, and from beginning to middle and end, and it just was a very cohesive film, and there was really no pacing issues. Everything worked in that film, besides Ronan, the villain, which he wasn't horrible, but you know, he wasn't that great either. In this film, the flow of the movie is not as good, and it's not as cohesive. This film is always entertaining, but it's very, like, I can't say certain things. I have to say them in my spoiler review, but if you see the film, certain characters go on certain journeys and certain missions, and they have to do certain things, and you know, it's like we're cutting back and forth throughout, and it's nice though, because that's also a positive, because we get more into the characters. We get more character structure for pretty much all of the characters. People say that Drax is really in this movie, and he's you know, not really developed anymore or anything. You do get a little bit. There is a conversation in the film with him and someone else, and he's kind of just talking about his past a little more, and we get to get into his heart a little bit, which I did enjoy. I mean, we don't really get any more of the backstory of Gamora. We pretty much already know everything with her, which, like I said from the first film, I think she was maybe the least interesting Guardian. I liked her a lot, but she was the least interesting Guardian. In this movie, I would, honest to God, I wouldn't even say that any of them are the least interesting, because every character has at least something that's brought to the table. But what this film does, and what James Gunn does, is he takes all these side characters and he shines the light on them, and he brings them into the forefront. Like Yondu, played by Michael Rooker. He's fantastic in this film. He didn't steal the movie for me. A lot of people have said that Yondu steals the movie. I don't think he steals the film. I think that every character steals the film, to be honest with you. I think every character has their time to shine, and they all have their moment in this movie. including Baby Groot, which I'm not going to get into, but, you know, everybody has their time in this film. Now, sure, Yondu is very developed in the movie. We get more about him, and I would say his character has the most prominent arc in the film, which is a nice thing, and I liked it. But I don't think he sold the movie for me, but I do think he was very good. Now, Ego, played by Kurt Russell in this movie, we see in the trailers and everything that he's Peter's father. And there's a nice dynamic there between the two of them, between Peter Quill and Ego. I really like their interaction. And it works for the most part. It works. There's some certain things that happen with that I can't really get into, but I didn't really necessarily buy into 100%. I bought into Ego as a person, but there's things that happen that feel very Thor: The Dark World to me at the end of the film. There's things that happen that reminded me of that movie, because certain things happen, but we never go back to it, and it's like, well, what happened here? This is a pretty significant thing that happened, but we're just gonna keep going and end the film. I'll talk more about that in my spoiler review, but it did kind of bother me. It didn't take me out of the movie by any means, but it's just like, well, if you're gonna do this, you have to explain what happened. You know, it's hard to talk about without giving anything away, so I'll leave it at that. I think the score by Tyler Bates is good. I think he did a good job scoring the film. Some of it does sound a lot like Mad Max Fury Road, like the score to that. I don't know if he got inspired from that, because in some of the action scenes it's like, you know what I mean, like the Mad Max music. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it sounds like we're watching Mad Max Fury Road some of the times. There are 5 after credit scenes. Before I go, I want to mention that there are 5 after credit scenes, and I think 3 of them are played for humor. One of them is played to set up for the next film, and like the next Guardians of the Galaxy, not like Avengers Infinity War or anything. It sets up the next Guardians movie. And then the last one, not in that order, but there's one in there that really is just like, I don't really even know what that was about, because I haven't really read any of the comics. I just watched these movies, and something happens. Like, there's this one post-credit scene where I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, what does that mean? But who it's involving is kind of is interesting, and it's fun. I do think James Gunn did a fine job with this movie. What he really did is make a character film. This is a very different film than the first Guardians of the Galaxy was. This is a very different movie. But I liked it. Like, I really enjoyed this film. But like I said, it is a character film, and we just really get time to just be with these characters and just, you know, hear them talk with one another, and we really get to know more about them and how they, you know, are as people, and it's really nice, and I did enjoy that aspect of it. Karen Gillan, as I mentioned, is Nebula. They you know, they dive into her a little more, which was nice. And her in the first movie, I didn't like her in the first movie at all. Really, did a lot of overacting. She did a lot of yelling and screaming in that film. The tone of voice that she used, I wasn't a really big fan of what she did in that movie, but in this one, she took it down. And I actually liked her in this movie. I went in and I was like, oh god, she's going to annoy me because she's going to be screaming like she was in the last movie, and she's just going to be talking in this weird accent or in this weird tone of voice, and I'm just going to be annoyed by it. But to be honest with you, she actually she was good in the film. I enjoyed her in this movie. I enjoyed everybody in the film. I think the acting was fine. And that's pretty much all I could say without giving anything away, because with these Marvel films, it's hard to talk about them in a non-spoiler review, because there's certain things that happen that you need to talk about, but you can't because they're spoilers. Because they leave things out of the trailers and they don't want you to know. But when certain things do happen in the film, that's where you got to be like, okay, well, I feel this way about this. You know, it's difficult. So I will be doing a spoiler review for this one. Like I said, either tomorrow or Sunday. I'll let you guys know on social media. I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 4 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. This is a fun movie. It's a very nice character study. And I think James Gunn did a fine job, and I'm very excited to see what happens next. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guys, what did you think about the film? Comment below. Don't spoil the movie in the comments, but let me know. What did you think about the film? Did you like it? Which one do you like better, the first or the second one? You could also subscribe to this channel because, like I said, I have my review for the first Guardians up. That's on the channel now. Also, you could check out my review for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, which I'll be posting later today. I've been doing a series of Pirates reviews. I have my review for The Curse of the Black Pearl on this channel now. Next Friday, I'll be posting my review for At World's End, which is very exciting, all leading up to Dead Men Tell No Tales. Guys, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video. And you can also follow me on Snapchat at RyanKing72 and on Instagram at KingArises131. Like I said, I'll let you guys know on there when I'm going to be posting the spoiler review. It's either going to be tomorrow or Sunday, as I said. So I'll let you guys know in there for sure. And yeah, guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching my non-spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Over and out.
After all these years, I've found you.
And who the hell are you?
I'm your dad, Peter.
Alright guys, don't worry, I didn't forget. Like I did say in my past videos, at the end of this, I will be giving you my top 15 films in the MCU. I did not forget. I'm going to run through the list fairly quickly, give a brief explanation why some things are there. And let's just get started. So at number 15, I have Thor: The Dark World. I have the film at 3 out of 5 stars. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's a very good movie either. I think it's just kind of blah. It's very forgettable. Honestly, there's a weak villain. The movie, like I said, it's just kind of blah. And then at number 14, I have Iron Man 2, which I have at 3 out of 5 stars. It's pretty much tied with Thor: The Dark World for me. I think these two are the worst in the MCU. Really, there's like a 15-minute chunk of this film that's literally just Tony sitting in his room there, just figuring out what his father left for him, and all this stuff is in the sky. You know what I mean? So it's all right. I don't hate the movie. Like I said, I pretty much have it tied with Thor: The Dark World. But I had to think to myself, what would I prefer to watch, Thor 2 or Iron Man 2? I'd pick Iron Man 2 because I like Tony Stark. You know, I like Robert Downey Jr. in the role, so that's what I would have chosen. At number 13, I have The Incredible Hulk. That one I have at 4 out of 5. This is where they actually start getting good. You know, I really like the film. But then you look at all the other ones, and it's kind of hard to put it over some of the other ones. So I just, you know, I don't watch it all the time. If I see it on TV, or, you know, I have it here. If I want to pop it in, I will. But the movie's not fantastic, but it is a decent movie. Number 12, Don't Shoot Me, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I have it at 4 out of 5 as well. Guys, if you did not watch my review for The Winter Soldier, I warned you guys in past videos, when I give you this list, you're going to see the Captain America: The Winter Soldier is not high up on it, and some of you are going to want an explanation, and I felt as though if I gave you the explanation in this video, it would have been too long. So what I did is I just re-reviewed the film. I went in depth with it. If you want to know why it's number 12, go watch that video. It's on my channel right now. And it's like a 25-minute video where I explain why I don't love the movie. I think it does have some very serious problems. But it is a good movie overall, but that's why it's number 12. Number 11 is actually this film, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It didn't hit my top 10, unfortunately. I do have the film at 4 out of 5, which I just announced a few minutes ago. I do like the movie. You know, it is a fun film. and it is an emotional ride from beginning to end. This is a more emotional film than the first one was, overall. And I did like that. You get these characters that we really kind of see more into, which I like that. And I like the action when there is action, I like the character moments, but I like the other 10 a little more than that, which is why at number 10 I do have Iron Man 3, which I do also have at 4 out of 5 stars. And some of you might have this lower on the list because I think with this movie, the big twist in that film either had people love it or hate it. And I was one of those people that didn't really, it didn't bother me. I didn't hate it at all. The twist, the Mandarin thing, you watch it and it's just like, for me personally, I was having so much fun with the film up until that point. It didn't really even bother me because I was so invested and engaged into Shane Black's movie. So I really dug Iron Man 3. I really liked that one. Number 9, I have Captain America, the First Avenger. I have that one at 4.5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, when I first saw this film, I didn't really love it. But then I watched it again. I think I watched it again probably before Civil War came out, to be honest with you. And I loved it. Like, it's a really good movie for the time period that it's set in. It's kind of like what I hope Wonder Woman is going to be, because Captain America, it took place during a completely different time than the other ones did. It's like really standalone film, and it worked, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Which, like I said, I hope Wonder Woman is like that as well for the DC films, because it takes place in a different time area, different time zone, not time zone, but different time area, which I hope they'll capitalize on. Guys, I do apologize. I live right next to a main road, so if you hear cars, I can't really help it. I don't have a studio. That's just how it is. Number 8, I have the first Thor. I have that one at 4.5 out of 5 stars as well. I love what Kenneth Branagh did with this movie. I think he did a fantastic job introducing the character that could have really went south really fast. He introduced Loki. If Loki didn't work in this movie, it would have been very hard for Joss Whedon to make him work in the Avengers film. So I think that overall, Thor is a really good movie, and I really enjoy it. Number 7, I have Avengers: Age of Ultron at 4.5 out of 5 stars as well. There are certain things that happen in this movie that literally are just to set up for future installments, like the Thor swimming in a pool in the darkness when Stellan Skarsgård is watching him. It is what it is. I don't hate it. I think this is a similar situation for me in Iron Man 3. I'm having so much fun with the film that those things really don't bother me that much. And when the action is in this movie, has phenomenal effects, has great action, and I love Joss Whedon's take on these characters. I think he did a great job. Number 6, I have Ant-Man at 4.5 out of 5 stars. I went into this movie, I said, a movie called Ant-Man? Like, what is that going to be? And it actually turned out to be one of my favorites. I really love Ant-Man. It's like a heist film, but it's like a family film at the same time. Paul Rudd is great as the character, and it's a great movie. And number 5 is another origin story that is more recent. In my review, I think I probably gave this movie 5 out of 5. After watching it again, the villain isn't as strong as I remembered him to have been, so I take it back down to 4.5 out of 5. That's Doctor Strange. I do love the movie. I think it's a fantastic film. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic, and I think Tilda Swinton, as the Ancient One, is one of the best side characters in the MCU, period. I think she was fantastic in the film, and, she steals the movie for me. She's the best part of the film. So Doctor Strange is number 5. Number 4 is the first Guardians of the Galaxy at 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this film. This is a fantastic superhero film. It's a fantastic film with great characters. Instantly, James Gunn makes you fall in love with these characters. There's a fantastic flow to the film with the action, the comedy, the humor, everything. It works. The serious moments, the dramatic moments, it all works perfectly, and there was a fantastic pace to the film. I love it. I could watch it anytime, have a great time with it. Number 3, 3 and 2 for me, they could have been switched up, but this is the way I have it. Number 3, I have Captain America: Civil War at 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think the Russo brothers did a fantastic job with this movie, you know, after The Winter Soldier, we see that they are fantastic action directors. They, you know, there's nothing wrong with the action in The Winter Soldier. The way it's choreographed, the way it's shot, it is fantastic. And that airport sequence in Civil War is probably the best single fight sequence in any of the sequences in the MCU. It is fantastic. I loved how each character had to kind of, you know, pick their side. It was very real situations, and very believable at the same time. So that movie, that's why it's number 3 for me. Number 2, and that also is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Number 2 is 5 out of 5, and number 1 is 5 out of 5. Number 2, I have Iron Man. Honestly, the reason why I put Captain America Civil War at number 3, not at number 2, because that would have meant that I had to put it at 5 out of 5, because Iron Man is pretty much a perfect film for me. You know, Civil War did have a weak villain, where I think an Iron Man, Obadiah Stane, was really good and convincing as this villain. I think he did a great job in that. And I love that movie. Like, the first Iron Man, this is the one that kicked off this whole entire cinematic universe. And if that movie didn't work, I don't think I'd be standing here right now giving you a top 15. Because it just, if it didn't work, we wouldn't be here right now. Simple as that. Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic casting. I can't wait to see him in Homecoming. You know, Spider-Man Homecoming. He's a fantastic character performer for Tony Stark. I don't think anybody could deny that. He is fantastic in the film, and I can't wait to see him in future films as Tony Stark. And number 1 is The Avengers, the ultimate superhero film, I think. I think this is when Joss Whedon did it best, how he brought all these characters. He had to introduce them to each other. You know, they're starting out as kind of these people that butt heads, but then at the end of the film, they kind of put their differences to the side and they work together. Loki was a fantastic villain in this movie. You know, we got hints of him being the villain in the first Thor movie. He's technically the side villain in that thing, aside from the Frost Giants. In this, he is the prominent villain. And Joss Whedon did a fantastic job, you know, giving him this dialogue that makes him like this kind of menacing, but at the same time he's this sly kind of guy. You know, Joss Whedon did a fantastic job with The Avengers. It is a 5 out of 5 film, and it is one of the best superhero movies ever made, aside from like The Dark Knight or like Spider-Man 2. No, not this Spider-Man 2. I'm talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. And the reason why I have that, by the way, is I'm going to be getting ready for Homecoming, so I'm going to watch the Spider-Man films, all of them. I don't know if I'm going to do a series to review those or a series to review the Iron Man movies. I'm not really sure. I hadn't decided yet. But there is going to be another series coming up to Homecoming, so that's very exciting. So yeah, guys, that's about it. That's my list. That's my top 15. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let's have a conversation down in the comments section. Alright, guys, once again, for this video, that is about it, and thank you very much for watching this whole video of my top 15 and the review for the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And that's about it, guys. I hope you have a great day. Also, before I leave, I am posting my trailer reaction, my live trailer reaction to the main official trailer for Dunkirk. That is going up probably within an hour or two, and then later tonight, my review for Dead Man's Chest will be up to continue my Pirates reviews. I already said that before. Alright, I'm just rambling now. I'm getting out of here, guys. I'll see you later.